to be with you today. As I had a chance to talk with you earlier this morning, Joe approached and said that there might be interest within the community of having an open town hall style discussion about services that come from the commission. And I just want to explain and qualify my reluctance to talk about specific cases in detail in a public meeting is less about my concern and has most to do with the fact that your child, your adult, your parent, whoever you're representing, they don't need to have their business talked about in the presence of everyone else. And so as a courtesy to you, if there are specific issues that are not systemic but are unique to your interested consumer, I'm happy to have a thorough conversation. But in order to have an informed conversation about that case, I would want the opportunity to go back, pull up a case file, review it, talk to those that have been involved in service delivery, and then be able to answer you in a private conversation. But I was generally happy to have a chance to talk with folks about the whys, the whens, the wherefores of what happens at the commission in a give and take type conversation. And then Joe explained that my good friend and colleague Nikki Gakos, who is acknowledged as being a national resource leader and giant, frankly, in the Randolph-Shepherd movement across the country. Nikki is the president of the National Association of Blind Merchants, one of the divisions of the National Federation of the Blind. He is also, though, above and beyond his blindness affiliation in the Randolph-Shepherd program, recognized as such an accomplished entrepreneur that he is a member of the board of directors of NAMA, the National Automatic Merchandising Association, which is, for those of us who are not involved in the snack food industry, the primary non-disabled industry trade group that helps people in that field succeed. And so he has very much transitioned and serves not only the blindness community, but has become recognized as a resource on blindness to the broader vending community. And so I understand that Joe thought that it would be helpful to have a conversation with both Nikki and myself about commission activities and if they are about Randolph-Shepherd. Nikki is the chair of our state's elected committee of Randolph-Shepherd managers. Under the Randolph-Shepherd law, each state is required to have its active blind managers elect a committee with whom the state licensing agency, that is the commission, has to engage on matters of major administrative or policy decisions. Because frankly, it's an interesting hybrid. It is a program that's administered by our state agency, but each blind manager has his or her own vested interest in his or her own business. And so we want to give people the autonomy that they need and deserve to run their business, and yet because we continue to have an investment in it, and it helps us attract and create opportunities for new people, it does require a partnership. And states that don't recognize that often have conflict in their Randolph-Shepherd program, but states that do, like I hope we can say fairly that New Jersey does, they have good, strong relationships. And for those that may not be aware of Randolph-Shepherd, I don't want to spend much more time, but a quick thumbnail 1-minute definition is that this program was established in 1936 under the Roosevelt administration as a means of helping blind people have the opportunity to exercise and operate businesses on federal properties and other types of properties, so that they could, and not just as frontline employees, but as executive owners, so that they could succeed. The program has been great in that over 60,000 people, including not only the blind managers, but their families and their staffs. Over these last 80 years, 60 to 75,000 people's lives have been impacted. It's a great program because it first gives people who are blind an opportunity to make, in some instances, a very meaningful living. It's a great program, secondly, because it gives blind people an opportunity to be an effective ambassador for this program, because they are seen capably running their own businesses. And third, it's a great program because it enables people to understand and engage with blind people who work in the public sector on a day-to-day basis. And Nikki is a model of that kind of success, having brought in franchising opportunities and the like. In 1936, when this program started, blind people were generally given little snack bars in small corners of federal buildings. Today, the program has evolved. It takes credit cards, but it also operates still from the smallest type of snack bar to the most complicated food service delivery that you might imagine on military bases or on other public property, and are as sophisticated as having delivery services involved and the like. So although the program has not been amended federally in 40 years, the program has in fact progressed in terms of time and how it is perceived. The last thing I'll say before I give this over to Nikki to share with you any perspective he has is this. The Randolph-Shepard program is one that can be misunderstood because it gives people a priority to operate on federal properties. Now, every state that participates in our program has developed its own corresponding or mirroring state statute, which extends that priority to state and local municipalities. And New Jersey has done that as well. So that priority now is at the federal level all the way down. Some people misunderstand that as creating a special interest group, but it's no different than creating any kind of government preference program to support any kind of person who might find him or herself in a class of human beings that deserve additional support from the government to ensure a level of equal playing field.